Hey everyone, how's it going? Haven't made a face cam vid in a very long time. Had a lot going on in my life for the past few months and really haven't really wanted to make any videos in a while, but there's something that I watched on YouTube very recently, like about 20 minutes ago actually, and it got me so fired up and I wouldn't say enraged, but just fired up. And this video is going to kind of focus on Magic, but more on Call of Duty and kind of YouTubing in general. This video doesn't really have anything to do with what my subscribers are used to. And I'm getting a bit rambly here, but there's this Call of Duty YouTuber. His name is Blame Truth. He recently popped up in my subscription feed for a while because, for the past year or so where I haven't been uploading consistently, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, namely Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare. I've been getting back into that franchise because I was very much into it as a kid. And so this YouTuber popped up into my feed and I watched his videos and he is pretty irate about the state of Modern Warfare, which makes sense given the post launch of it and how Infinity Ward, the developers of the game, and Activision have been treating the product afterwards, even though previous Call of Duties have had a lot more love and attention than this new flagship title, right? And so his videos over time have just been getting more and more and more angry at Infinity Ward. And while it does make for good entertainment value, there's something in his tone and in the way in which he speaks that reminds me a lot of myself and how I've felt about Magic for pretty much the last 4 to 5 years of my life with this game. There's a video that he came out with today that said something about Modern Warfare drove me to drink, and that one kind of got my ears perked up, not in a positive way, but because of and I'm trying not to be offensive here, and I'm going to try and get Blame Truth's attention by making this video because I want him to see what I say and hear the words. Whether or not they may be of value is up to the viewer, but they seem weak. The notion of letting a video game, an outside force, no matter how prevalent it may be in your life, to drive you to do something to emotionally manipulate you into doing something that you're against. Because Blame Truth has made videos about how he used to have drinking problems and how he improved himself and lost a lot of weight, which is fantastic. It's something I wish I could say the same for myself. But the fact that he allowed a $60 game made by a multi-billion-dollar corporation and it was developed by a bunch of developers that are maybe a skeleton crew of what were the glory days of Infinity Ward back between 2003 to 2008. Those days are dead and gone, and to allow it to consume yourself to the point where you allow it to take control of your life and use that as an excuse to lose more control of your life is pure weakness. And I speak from that perspective because I've done the same to myself, really. For those that are longtime subscribers, you may or may not know my constant ire with Wizards of the Coast and how that anger has essentially grown and festered over the years, and it peaked at around mid to late 2018, maybe at the beginning of 2019, when I really reached my apex. It feels like it's about the same level of Blame Truth, except I wasn't like literally losing my shit over it in like videos or anything like that, but the frustration was all the same. We, because you watch these videos, and if you stick around long enough, there's at least some chance that you agree with me, or you've been part of this journey over the years, watching what is arguably considered one of the greatest physical games to have ever been created, has been slowly mired and dragged through the mud in terms of, card stock quality, design space, like overpowering cards and making things super powerful and making continual products that will force people to buy more products. And I get it, that's the point of a business, is to keep itself open and to make sure that your investors are happy and whatnot. But the aggressiveness and the pace at which they've gone at over the past 5 years is remarkably depressing, on top of Arena, really, because not only is the game being pushed in this strange new direction that none of us are really used to, it's also being pushed into a digital world. And when it's getting pushed into a digital world so hard, there's so many other consequences about the paper world that a lot of people, you kind of think about for a little bit, but it just slowly, everything begins to unravel and fall apart. And it just feels like the general morale of the Magic the Gathering community is nearly not the same as it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago. And you could say the same for Call of Duty. Now, Call of Duty is a bit different because it's two completely different audiences, right? You have, Magic the Gathering, you have like a bunch of fucking nerds or whatever. And Call of Duty, you also have like a bunch of other nerds, but they're into their own game, right? And it's two completely different demographics. But the difference between Magic and Call of Duty is that with Magic the Gathering, there's a lot more of that social aspect. And since the game is now transitioning into a more digital product and is being a lot more Wizards of the Coast being direct to its consumer, you lose that tangibility, and that spark really is lost in the game. And the passion of wanting to go out and hang out and meet new people at a shop, or trade ideas with strangers across the internet and Twitter and all that other stuff, it does not feel the same. And it made me very, very, very angry. And I had to step back from it and think to myself, why? Why am I so angry over one of my favorite things in the world being taken apart piece by piece in front of me? No matter how much I try to stop it, it's still continuing to happen, and it's making me lose focus entirely of the entire situation. The narrative has been lost on me, and the ability for me to control my own emotions in response to being so emotionally invested in something for so long has made me start to undo myself as a result. I had to think, why was I so dependent on something ultimately so worthless in the end? Magic could go away tomorrow. Wizards of the Coast could just be completely dissolved by Hasbro. The game is just completely sold off, and that's it, done. But you know what I have at the end? I still have all of my old cards that I can go and play. Activision and Infinity Ward or Sledgehammer or Treyarch, whoever, can ruin Call of Duty even further than where it is now. But at the end of the day, you can still fire up your Xbox 360, pull up Black Ops 2, and go play the campaign or zombies, or try to play a lobby that isn't hacked. But those things are still there that you can enjoy, right? And, Blame Truth does this in his videos, where instead of playing Modern Warfare, which he hates a lot, he plays Black Ops 4, which, fine, make your own happiness. But I don't understand a point in letting something like that take such control of your life and your emotions to where you begin to not be able to recognize yourself and your actions as a result, because so much of your soul and personality has been dictated by a corporation. And I feel that it is symptomatic of our quote-unquote society. Put on your Joker masks, and it just feels like people put so much of their identity into a product or into a service that they do that because they don't know who they are and what they want to be. And so maybe it's a part of growing up. Maybe a part of getting so angry and frustrated at something that you can't control makes you take a step back and realize maybe it's not that important. And so I kind of just want to leave it at that. Call of Duty at the end of the day, not that important. Even if it is a YouTube thing, like it is your career, you make videos about Call of Duty. Maybe take this as an opportunity to figure out something else what you want to do with your life. I've felt like that with my YouTube channel for a long time. Now, whether or not I commit to actually making content in general is up in the air. Who knows? Maybe this year will be the year where I finally actually decide to make something worthwhile. But in the meantime, you got to figure out something to do, because sitting around drinking yourself into a blitz because you're angry that a bunch of strangers that you've never met in your life are making decisions that you don't agree with is not only weak, but from a third person perspective, it's kind of pathetic. And I'm saying that to myself just as much as I'm saying that to you. So I hope you don't take too much offense to this, because I'm not trying to get you angry, Blame Truth, if you're watching this. I'm just saying, man, it's not really worth it all that much in the end to get that fired up over something so menial. Find some purpose, do something else. You seem to be having a lot of fun with Black Ops 4, so maybe make something based around that, or go play Apex Legends, or something else, Anyways, went off on a really long tangent there, really unfocused, but whatever. I hope all of you who are watching this gains a better perspective of why I haven't made Magic content that much in the past year and a half, 2 years. And I hope you can understand why when sometimes somebody comments saying, "We hope you make Magic the Gathering content," I don't respond, because, as earnest as those requests are, I just know that in my heart of hearts, that Magic isn't really for me in the long term. It's one of the greatest games I've ever played, if not the greatest game I've ever played. But I'm not going to let some corporation dictate whether or not I get to be in a good mood today. So, anyways, my name is Tasty Snackies. You all have been wonderful, and I'll catch you on the flip side.